Always bringing that truth. You know how I do. The birds are with us this morning. Let me go ahead and get this giant started for you. Roll my little giant up. But it'll work. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. What is today? Today is April 1st. Gang. It's Friday. Gang. One more again, I'll be right back with you. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. All right. And we are back. Again, it is April 1st. April Fool's Day. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Gang, gang. Tribe vibes in this motherfucker. Hair wraps on. Truthgang, mask off. Hashtag flourish. Hashtag loyalty. Grand Rising, everyone, everyone, everyone. I seen 222 on the clock. We got 2 likes. I can't see who's up in here with me, so if you up in here, you gotta let me know what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I had to get myself together, y'all. That's why I had to take me a break. Yeah, I can see your comments, Grand Rising. It just doesn't, it's not showing me who all in here. I know y'all up in here. It's just not showing me. Like it say I got 0 people watching, but I got 3 likes. And I got people talking in my comment section. Ashe. Ashe to the divine infinite all. We give Ashe to our most beautiful and precious Santissima Muerte. We also would like to give Ashe to all of our ancestors, angels, guides, elder spirits, ascended master spirits. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. And I'm going to tell some stories. I'm also going to speak a little bit, and we're going to see what's going on. Ashe. All right. I hope everybody had a grand few days here. Okay. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Okay, so first let me apologize to anybody who texted me or inboxed me or any of that. I'd like to apologize to you. I'm just going to apologize only because you don't know what's going on. I'm not going to apologize for not answering, okay? Because I have to follow the directions of my ancestors, angels, and guides. And because I was telling y'all what had happened when I was cramping and how, like, Spirit was telling me how I shouldn't have said that shit online because that lets somebody know what phase my body is and therefore they can try to trigger shit or whatever. So this moon cycle for myself, I needed to take a moment to just relax and just chill. I wrote some poetry for you all. I have not recorded the poetry just yet, but it is already written because I told y'all the Spirit was telling me to write how I feel. Okay, so I took some time to do that. And it was good. It was good. I'm gonna let you all hear that. I'm gonna record that for you guys today, and I'm gonna put that onto the YouTube page. Okay. So I had to take a break from even doing readings because I personally feel, and y'all always hear me preaching, that if the spiritualists, if their vibration is off, they should not be taking on other people's energies. They should not be doing readings at that point in time because they are vulnerable, you know? So if you inbox me for a reading, if you're still interested in that reading, hit me up. I'm going to be available for all of your readings. I'm able to do that today, but I needed to balance out my energies. I had to fight this time. All my life, I had to fight. Literally, this time, I had to fight, okay, to keep my vibration high, okay? So it is what it is, and I don't want to spread that energy throughout the tribe by taking y'all readings, taking y'all monies for the readings, and then my vibration being off. So respect your spiritualist when, you know, she might disappear for a couple of days, something like that. I'm disappeared for a couple of days because I got to make sure that I'm okay to come to the tribe and approach the tribe and all of that. Ashe, ashe, ashe. All right, so Spirit was telling me to do some story times. I guess somebody's wanting to allow somebody to come in and live in their house. So Spirit was like, you know, share your experiences with that. And I also wanted to share the story about the girl with the one leg. If you guys were following me on Facebook during my hiatus from YouTube, then you've heard this story before. But Spirit wants me to bring that shit back up because it was also, so we're going to talk about living, allowing people to live in your home. And then we're also going to talk about trusting people, because I thought about too, you know, how y'all be like, we're here for you, Truthgang, whoop, 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 whoop. You know, I thought about it too. And I also thought about, you know, the times where I did trust two tribe members. They were off of YouTube and Facebook. They came to me. One of the girls I trusted, and the other girl I allowed to come and stay with me because she didn't have any place to go. And we're going to talk about those times because I feel like maybe this is going to help somebody. And YouTube is a brighter audience than Facebook, though you'll get your people on Facebook to come onto your live quicker. Like if I would have hit my live button on Facebook, I would have had 30 people in there automatically. You know what I'm saying? And YouTube is kind of like worldwide, so the people of YouTube didn't quite get this energy or these stories. And some of the stories that I'm about to tell you, you have not heard before, okay? But it will help someone, okay? It definitely will help someone. You say, yes, my rap is on. Shay, let me throw mine on because I was about to take my hair down. I really wanted to do a story time and take my hair down, but Spirit was like, you can't get on the camera just yet. So fuck. Because I was like, we just to do a story time while I take my hair down and do my hair or whatever. Because I'll be doing like little styles and stuff. Y'all don't really ever see them on camera, but I do them to myself so I can be pretty and, you know, sitting by myself looking at my goddamn self. But anyways, all right. So I think we're gonna start with the trusting thing. Okay. I didn't already forgot this girl name. And I already forgot her goddamn name. But I think she said she was the child of Ishu. All right. And you know, Ishu is trickster energy, right? So I was talking to this girl online and I was in Louisiana. This is after me and Baba D had separated. All right. And I was talking to this girl online and she said she was a part of Truthgang. She had been following me for years. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Same little spiff or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So she goes to tell me about how she was a child of issue and that she ended up losing her leg. And I'm somebody who, we talked about the stigmata type shit, right? How when sometimes when these spirits come around, you'll take on these energies for her. So for her to tell me that wasn't nothing out of the ordinary for me. I was like, oh, okay, you really got hit with some shit if they made you lose your leg and you're telling me you're a child of, you know, issue and all that shit, which means she would have been limping. You know, she would have been limping because she only had one leg, right? And she tells me she's from St. Louis. She knows that I'm from St. Louis. And that part was true. So that was like the only truth to the story. So she says she wants to meet me. She says she wants to help out Truthgang. She says she has these properties. And this is before we came up with trying to actually get just this plot of 21 acres with the group GoFundMe. This is before then, but she knew I was trying to get some land. And she's telling me I already own land in St. Louis and I'm willing to donate it to Truthgang, you know, for the use of the tribe or whatever, right? So she's telling me she's got all these different properties and she wants me to move back to St. Louis, where I'm from. She wants me to move back to St. Louis, and it's a year before I actually move back here. You know what I'm saying? She said, I want you to move back to St. Louis and I'm going to show you these properties and all this other shit, right? And at that time, I had Kenya Mayat. That's not her real name, so I'm just going to say that's her name, right? Because I'm sure she's changed her screen name after I busted her ass out in Truthgang. So Kenya Mayat was another tribe member that was online, right? And these are two different tribe members. They do not know each other, right? But they both was fucked up. When I met them in person, they both was fucked the fuck up, okay? So, like, Kenya Mayat was one of the moderators on Facebook and all my groups and all that stuff. And when I would go live, she'd be the one putting the CASHAPP and everything into the comment section for people to come in or whatever. But Kenya Mayat, she was having some problems. And she had told me some stuff about herself too. She's not a client anymore. If you are a client of mine, then I do practice confidentiality. But what she did, I'm about to tell y'all what the fuck she did. She's not a tribe member, so I don't got to keep shit a secret. Okay, you say I remember this story and them. Yes, okay. So, Kenya Mayat, she was like really having my back and shit. And some people be overzealous with that shit. And I appreciate the support and all that shit. So I ain't saying I don't want nobody to help me because I do appreciate that shit. But she was real overzealous with it. So I felt like I could trust her with the tribe. I felt like I could trust her with the knowledge. I felt like I could trust her with, you know, my family, because that's how close we had become. At Kenya Mayat, I had been her spiritualist for about 2.5 years already. You know what I'm saying? So when she was telling me she was going through these problems, her sister had kicked her out. What she told me her sister had did, and this is for the people that, I mean, her sister says she did. Okay, this is for the people who do not know her in particular, and her sister was a tribe member too, as well, right? And I'm not going to give her name because I know she still watches my videos and all that stuff. And I actually ended up later on having to help her magically remove her motherfucking sister from her motherfucking house. Okay. So she's telling me that she don't have any kids or anything like that. And she's telling me that her sister put her out because the kid says that she was threatening them to hit them and to put her hands on them and all that other shit, right? And I'm like, okay. She said, but I would never do that. I didn't do that. I would never do that. And I believed her. I'm like, okay. So, I mean, those are your nieces and nephews. And every now and then you'll tell your sister kid, like, you know, sit the fuck down. I'm going to knock the shit out your ass. That's your sister kid. So if you did do it, I mean, you know, I didn't think it was to like an abuse point because they're related. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think that that's what that was. You said it already sounds like she wanted to spiritually mount and harness her power. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. Okay? Because there was a whole lot of deception going on in Truthgang. That's why I ended up shutting down the groups, kicking out the readers and all the motherfucking spiritualists. There's no more spiritualists or readers in those groups other than Prince EI. And then we have teachers. We have the Cosmo guy who's a teacher, and then we have Optong Long Healer. And then there's another teacher that's in the group. We have teachers in the group and not readers now, but I do believe Prince EI is a reader still. He does his voodoo thing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, I make Kenya Mayat moderator. I put her up, you know what I'm saying? I give her, you know, like a little pedestal. Like, okay, since you're doing all this shit for me, I'm going to make you a moderator and put you over the group and let you help with the Sunday reading specials. She was writing down, like, the people's names as they was calling and making sure that their payments was there, like, giving the payment, you know what I'm saying, information and shit like that. So I let Kenya Mayat come and live with me, right? And the plan was this because, oh, girl, she had the property in St. Louis and I'm in Louisiana. Me and Baba D had broke up. The plan was this. She got the property. We gonna go down to St. Louis and we finna check out these properties. And if everything is right with these properties, then we will move down there, right? We'll move back to St. Louis. And she telling me she got more than one property. So Kenya would not have been staying with me. She would not have been staying with me if everything went out with these properties and shit. She was telling me that Truthgang can have these 3 different properties, right? If we agreed as a tribe to, you know, fix the property up and shit, like, she wasn't just giving it to us. She was like, you got to fix the property up and all that other shit. And then y'all already know I got to tell the story about our bros with that girl Tiffany too, right? So we gonna stick to Kenya Mayat and this bitch with the one leg, because these two, they met each other and this is something that, you know, comes together, right? So the girl with the one leg, she calls me and she telling me I need to give up my house in Louisiana. I need to stay down there. I need to do all this other shit. So when I come down there, basically I'm stuck in St. Louis. But I have a big family in St. Louis and I'm from St. Louis. So I was like, I know none of my family is really going to help me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep my apartment, keep the lease and everything in my motherfucking name, and then we'll drive down there and we'll see what's up. So when we get here, I pull up to the house, right? And first, like, there was a lady outside and there was a man outside and they were working on the house that we were supposed to be looking at, right? So she's working on the house and then we go into the motherfucking house and I ask for the girl whose name it is that we're supposed to be coming to see, the girl, the child of Ishu or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So first things first, I noticed the bitch had 2 legs, okay? And I felt taken advantage of because when she first told me that she had 2 legs, I had supporters. So I'm like, okay, if I have supporters and she doesn't have a prosthetic leg, then we as a tribe, we're going to come together and we're going to buy this bitch a prosthetic leg. So I was really upset, like, when I got there or whatever, because she was telling me that she didn't have a leg, you know what I'm saying? And Kenya Mayat had told me, because she was kind of like acting as my assistant at that point in time, because a lot of people was hitting me up, and she told me that she was on the video chat with the girl. She checked the girl out. The girl was limping in the video, like she was putting on this show for Kenya Mayat. So at this point, I'm still thinking I could trust Kenya or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, you saying she doesn't have two legs, and you like, no, she don't have two legs. She was limping on the video. She didn't give me a whole body shot, but she was showing me or whatever. And she was telling me she couldn't walk and all this other fucking type of shit. But when we get there, this bitch has two motherfucking legs. So that was strike one. And then we're sitting in this property, right? And she's got fucking 9 kids, right? Like literally 9 kids, and they're all running around and shit like that. They're all running around this house, and it's a construction site. This house is very unsafe, right? It's a construction site. So we're wanting to see the other properties, but she's steady stalling and stalling and stalling and stalling and stalling to see the other motherfucking properties, right? So she's like, let me get y'all something to eat. She orders some food and all this other shit. And then it starts getting dark or whatever, like the sun is starting to set. And she's like, well, why don't y'all just stay here, for tonight? And I'm like, okay, well, where are y'all going to stay? Because it's already me, my 3 kids, Kenya, my yacht, right? So I'm like, where are we going to stay tonight or whatever? And this is a construction site. She was like, oh, well, it's a big ass property too. She's like, well, we have this side of the house set up for me, my husband, my kids, and them. And she has 9 kids. I'm not exaggerating, okay? So she got 9 kids. So I'm like, okay. And then she's like, well, we'll just move everybody around. Like, I'll put these kids over here. You put these kids over here. And then you and Kim Mayat can have this room here. And then, y'all can stay here or what. Woo. And I'm like, this isn't going to work because I have spirits and I have them with me and they have to have their own room, which is why I have to have my own crib because my spirits, they take a lot of space. You know what I'm saying? So that was strike one or whatever. She's like, we all going to stay here on this strike two. We all finna stay here on this construction site and we'll put y'all in certain rooms. It's just weird ass shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, the house isn't even finished. You're living in the construction site with your 9 kids with fucking main ass fucking tools out, saws, all this other crazy shit. Right? So she's like, all right, sun's finally set in. She's like, all right, I'm going to take you to this other property. And if you like it there better, then you guys can stay there until, you can stay there until, everything works out, but there's still furniture in the house. And her husband, he starts laughing. He's like, you're not finna take them to the house. Like, y'all ain't finna take them to this house or whatever, And she's like, yeah, I am. They can stay there or whatever. And he looked at her. He didn't say anything, but he gave her this look like, bitch. Like, why are you finna take them to this house? Like, he thought she was joking. He was laughing, right? And she was like, no, let's come on. Let me finna take them, right? So we took them to the house. And me and Kenya Maya had bought these house shoes on the way because we was in the car for 9 hours. We was driving 9 hours. And they had these nice-ass, fluffy-ass house shoes on sale. So we had bought them. They was real cute and shit. She got her a black pair. I got me a pair of, leopard print ones and shit like that. And when we get to the house, we didn't notice anything other than the house had furniture still in it. It's a big-ass house. It's by the river. It looks like one of them houses in New Orleans because, St. Louis got them same type of build houses, them French-style houses, right? So we walk through the house. Everything seems okay other than, like I said, the shit was still in the house or whatever. And then when we come out of the house, Kenya Maya, she starts screaming. She looks down. She has fleas all mixed into her fluffy house shoes and shit and all up her legs. She had socks on, but I didn't put any socks on. She had it all up her legs and all this crazy shit. It was just like millions of fleas just attached to her or whatever. And I guess that's why her husband was looking all crazy, right? So we just bought these houses and shit. We're in the backyard, looking at the backyard, and I'm looking at myself because I see her. There wasn't any on me because I didn't have the socks on. I didn't have no fabric or nothing. You know what I'm saying? But there was like some inside of the house shoes that I had on from walking through it. And then like we start checking the kids and shit because my kids was with me. My sons got fleas all in their shoes, all on their clothes. It was all over my son. So we ended up stripping them naked, like right there outside on the street. You know what I'm saying? We stripped my sons naked because they're kids and they didn't know any better. So they was running through the motherfucking house. And her kids, when we got to the house, the girl, she took her kids with her, all 9 of her motherfucking kids. When she opened up the motherfucking door to the motherfucking house, they didn't want to go in the house. And that was like red flag number 3. And I didn't know why the kids didn't want to go in the house. She was like, y'all stop acting like that. Like, come on and get in this house. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then one of her kids, it was more than one of her kids, but one of them was real bad. She had scars all over her. She was bit up all over her. You know what I'm saying? Like her face, her arms, her legs, her neck, everything. She was bit up all everywhere. And I noticed that when we first got to the construction site house, but I didn't know it came from that house. And then she started to tell me, she said, oh, them kids, woo, yeah. She started to tell me, what happened to the little kid and shit and why they didn't want to come in the house after she seen that we was like stripping our kids' clothes off and shit like that or whatever, right? So she see that me and Kenya Mayata are having a little try powwow now. Because Kenya like, fuck this, fuck this. And I'm like, fuck this. Because we had our stuff in the car, right? We had all of our stuff in the car. And before we noticed it, like we were all like we sat in the car. And she's like, I have everything I own in this motherfucking car. Like we cannot be in this car. Like just a bunch of shit was going wrong because the fleas was that bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? So she didn't even want to get in her car after that because she had everything she owned in her motherfucking car. Right? So she's like, okay, we sitting outside. She noticed we having this group powwow. And she's like, y'all come inside. We can smoke. We can drink. We can do this. We can do that. Come inside or whatever. She's sitting on the couch and shit. Like there's nothing wrong. Like there's not bugs crawling every fucking where all over us. You know what I'm saying? So, and they're fleas too. So they're in the couches. They're in the carpet. It was carpet in this house. They were in the carpet. They're in the clothes. They're in every fucking thing, right? So she's sitting on the couch like, y'all sit down. Like, what's wrong? Like, you know, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? And I'm like, what the fuck? So she's like, all right, I'm sorry, y'all. She started crying and shit. The girl that's supposed to have the one leg. She started crying and shit. She's like, I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to have y'all come down here or whatever. I didn't mean to do this and this and this and this, right? And I'm like, we finna ghost this bitch. Okay, we finna leave her right where the fuck she's staying. We finna just ghost her ass right here. And she was like, y'all, I have one more property. I have one more property. Let me show you this last property. And if you don't like it, then I'm sorry. Like, you know, it's all good. I have this and I want you to check it out. And I said, Kenya, Maya, let me talk to you for a second. We stepped to the side, and Kenya's like, I mean, she already homeless. I never gave up the crib in Louisiana, okay? I did not give up the crib in Louisiana. She's already motherfucking homeless, right? Yes, this bitch had fleas, man. So Kenya's homeless. I still have my crib in Louisiana, but we gonna go look at this other shit because Kenya's like, I will for real stay here if we can get this shit right with these properties. Like, I'll just stay here. I'll fix up the house if she's gonna get this shit right with these properties, right? So she takes us to the other house, right? And when no, we didn't even get to the other house, right? She takes us back to the construction site house, right? Because Kenya was like, I don't really want to see the other house because what she told us was that she didn't have the keys to the house, that she was going to have to break into the house and show us the property that way. She was going to have to go through the back and break into the house and show us the property that way. And I said, well, do you have the paperwork for the property? And she said, yeah, I have the paperwork. I said, well, why can't we just call the police and ask them, or call a locksmith if you have the paperwork, or call the police, call the locksmith or whatever if you have the paperwork for the other property, and we can get into the property or whatever. And she's like, no, I don't want to call the police. I just want to go in. This is how we get in it or whatever. I just want to go in the house. I just want to climb through the window and come through the front or whatever. And I'm like, I don't think this is safe because I don't want to go to jail. Like, I don't want to go to jail. You said you had these properties. The other two properties that you showed us, they had significant, like, problems with them. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, no, just trust me. Just trust me. So King says, I'm tired of this shit. The sun's already down. She's like, let's just get a hotel for the night and we'll regroup in the morning, right? Let's just get a hotel room. We're going to regroup in the morning. Kenya has some money. I have some money. So me and her go in on this hotel room, right? I drop my kids off to relatives because I told you I'm from here, so I got family here. So I drop my kids off to relatives and I tell them situation and I tell them that we was trying to move back to St. Louis, but this is what's going on with this person that said that they had these properties. She's a liar. She has the actual properties, but, you know, she's fucked up. You know, the next morning she's calling us and she's saying, meet her at the property. And Kenya's like, I got a really, really bad feeling about going to this property. She said, if we go to this property, we're going to go to jail or whatever. So we ended up ghosting this bitch. So now me and Kenya, my eyes just out here in St. Louis. And Kenya's like, we could try to make it work out here or whatever, because you have family or whatever. But my family was not willing to take in Kenya, my yacht. Okay. My family was like, I will take you in, but we don't know this bitch, so she cannot stay here. She can't sleep here. We'll give her something to eat or whatever, but she cannot stay with us. So that was the situation with that. I felt like I got completely bamboozled. So me and Kenya and my yacht, we ended up ghosting this bitch. We head out the next day. We head back to Louisiana, back to the crib. Okay, now when we get to the crib, my daughter starts to get sick. And once my daughter starts to get sick, Kenya, my yacht, is now left with my sons because we take her to the hospital and the hospital was like, we have to keep your child overnight. So Kenya is sent home with my two children, my sons, right? And when my sons tell me what's going on the next day, they tell me that Kenya, my yacht, has threatened to abuse them, beat them, like hurt them. She's cursing them out. She's grabbing them up. She's trying to hurt them while I'm not there. And I had a feeling when I was at the hospital overnight with my daughter that something was going on. I made phone calls to check on the kids. You know, and this is like as soon as we get back, like we had been back a day and my daughter ended up in the hospital. And I had to, Spirit was finna show me who Kenya Maya really was or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So when I get home, They kept my daughter for a day and a half. When I get home, I'm asking my sons, did she touch you, like sexually and stuff like that? Because, I don't know her like that either. And fucking with this bitch that supposedly had one leg that had two legs and the properties was all fucked up. I'm now leery about Kenya, my aunt, as well because of that. And then there was another thing about her that fucked me up as well. She had a really strong body odor, and I don't want to fuck with nobody or put nobody out on blast neither, but that was something for me as well because I know this. Like, my spirits do not like that shit. My spirits like cleanliness. They don't like if you're dirty ass motherfucker, right? So she had like a strong cootamonga odor, right? And my sons was very offended by that as well. My kids was offended by that as well. She knew she stank. We had a 9-hour ride home. And like she tried to suffocate us with her cootamonga smell. Okay. Um, and that happened as well. So when my kids told me that, I felt very uncomfortable and I ended up putting her out that day. And she was like, can you give me till tomorrow? I'm like, nah, bitch, you got to go now because my kids said that you was cursing them out. You was trying to hit them. You was trying to like hurt them while I was gone. So that was my lesson of learning, of trusting people on this motherfucking, on this fucking YouTube shit, okay? On this social media shit. And that's why I am the way that I am with Tribe as well. So I do love you all and I do support you all. And I'm not going to block out the people that are right for me or whatever. But I do have to be cautious because motherfuckers is weird. Both of these females was acting like they were supporters of mine and that they were trying to help me build Truthgang and help me trying to do some stuff or whatever. But these females lied to me. Okay, one of them really did try to harm her sister's children, and I know this for facts because she tried to harm my child. And even the spirit, I did a reading on her and all that shit after my kids told me what happened or whatever. I did a reading on her and the spirit was like, yep, your kid's telling the truth, boop 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 boop. Because I was wondering, like, do my kids just not like her? Do they just not like her? Because if they're not being fair to her, I want to know. So that's why I ended up doing a reading. And the spirit was like, yeah, this bitch said that she was going to hurt your kids, right? So that was one thing right there. And then I want to tell you about the motherfucking time when I let people come and stay with me. And this is going to take me back to Nebraska. Or I could do it on another video. It really doesn't matter. You said weirdos fucking it up for us, shaking our head. Okay, so, I mean, Spirit taught me to just not trust people. Okay, even with my spiritual groups and shit like that. When I tried to meet some people in person, this is what happened. And I know that there are spells that have been cast basically to make me try to block out the wrong people. So they want to send all the negative people in too to make you feel like you should not accept anybody into your reality. You should not accept anybody into your life because you're now paranoid because all you've gotten is these fucked up ass people. So that's a ploy of the enemy as well, the people that are throwing the magic at you as well. So that when you are blessed with these people that are coming in to try to help you, then you'll turn them away or you won't pursue the situation because you're now trauma fucked up and shit dealing with these other people, right? So this story is about a family member, okay? This is the next story, all right? This next story is about a family member. And I'm telling y'all this shit just to get it off my chest. And then somebody may learn from these situations where you're meeting these people online, because I've met people online where it wasn't even dating situations and they still be fucked up, okay? They still be fucked up and it wasn't even a dating situation. Okay, so this is a story about when I was in Nebraska. And I told you, me and my sister, we have different fathers, right? We got different fathers, but we have the same mother, so to speak. But this is all before I found out I was adopted. If y'all been following my story, this won't be so confusing for you, right? So there was this girl that I grew up with. She ended up being like my best friend when I was a teenager. And she stayed like 3 houses up from my daddy. And it turns out that this is my sister's cousin from her father's side. It's like her father's brother's child, right? And so we just ended up starting calling each other cousin because we were related. Our relation was my sister, right? So when I moved to Omaha, Nebraska with this said sister, this cousin decides that she needs a new start from St. Louis. She wants to move from St. Louis and she needs somewhere to go. My sister had a big old family and everything, so she couldn't take her in. So I decided it's just me, my kids, so I'll allow you and your kids to come stay with me. Now, when people come to my home, I'm very friendly to them, and this is why motherfuckers feel like they can get shit off on me, but you can't get shit off on me because y'all done showed me, okay? So when people come to my home, I'm barely friendly with them, and I fucking pay for all her food because I know she don't have any money. I pay for all her food. I pay for her kids' food. I house her. I rearrange my house so that she can feel comfortable. I give her my entire basement, everything. so she can feel comfortable into my home, right? Now, my cousin, I knew that she was a fucking drunk. I knew she was a fucking drunk. But, she is who she is, so I accepted her. You know what I'm saying? One night, I was supposed to go out on a date with this other YouTuber. And this other YouTuber, it was that dude, Baruch Shai. So I was supposed to go out on a date with him. Me and him dated for about a year, and we never had sex or anything. So, yes, it is possible to date somebody and not sleep with them. But, we dated for about a year, so he's gonna take me on our weekly date. We go get food and shit, then we talk spiritual talk, and we have wine, and then we do creative shit or whatever. So he's coming to get me, but no, he wasn't coming to get me this time. I was supposed to drive to his house, right? Supposed to drive to his house. So the whole day, that day earlier, my cousin, she's meeting niggas and shit in Omaha, and she's doing her thing. She's getting drunk and shit. She want to have dude over or whatever. She getting drunk. She say, I'm gonna stay in, I'm gonna have company over here or whatever. But before I go out, I'm getting dressed and shit. She's about to get in her car and she's about to drive. And I'm like, cuz, you been drinking all day. She was slow drinking all motherfucking day. I'm like, you been drinking all fucking day, cuz you should not drive or whatever. And she's like, I need some more. She was drinking them fucking, what is them fucking margaritas, whatever them thing is. Them limaritas. She's like, I need some more limaritas before you go, cuz I need some more. And I knew that she had a car and I had a car. So if I didn't go get her limaritas for her, she was going to get in the car and she was going to drive. And I'm like, I can't have you out here driving. Like, literally, it's just me and my sister here in the state to help you. So, and my sister got her own fucking problems, you know? So I'm like, sis, I'm going to go ahead and just drive up here. And she's like, well, I want you to use my car to drive because my car has more gas. And I know you finna go out in your car or whatever, you know? So I'm like, all right. So I use her car to go get her some liquor because she's already drunk and she's about to get in the car and she's about to drunk drive. And I'm like, I'll just fucking go get it for you. I call my date and I'm like, look, I'm finna be a little bit late because my cousin is drunk and she's gonna go drive and get liquor and I'm just gonna go get it for her so she don't get in no trouble out here, right? So I drive her car, and on the way home from the liquor store in her car, now my car is legal in Omaha, Nebraska and everything. She got Missouri plates. I have Nebraska plates and all that other shit, right? So she tells me to drive her car. I drive her car and I end up getting pulled over on the way back. Now, what I got pulled over for on the way back was she had a tail light out. She had a license plate cover that was too dark. Like the tint over the cover was too dark. It was like shit wrong with her car. It wasn't that I ran a stop sign or a red light or anything like that. She had shit wrong with her car. Her window tints was too dark and all of that other shit, right? So I was telling the police officer that my cousin had some drinks or whatever earlier. I'm telling him what happened or where. And Nebraska cops, they cool, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is what happened. My cousin, she's drunk, and I had to go get her some more drinks because she was going to get in the car and she was going to drive. And he was like, are you telling me the truth? And I'm like, yeah, I'm telling you the truth. I can call her right now, and she's going to tell you, like, this is her car, and that I was, driving to go get her some drinks or whatever because she was already drinking and we were just trying to be good, citizens and do this shit the right way. So I call her up. The officer's telling her, hey, ma'am, is this your car or whatever? She didn't do any traffic violations, but the window tints are too dark. You got a headlight out. Your license plate cover is also too dark as well, And she's like, he's saying, if you come up here, then I'll write the tickets in your name and we'll let your cousin go or whatever because she was doing you a favor. Now, at first, said that she was like, yeah, everything she telling you was true, boo, 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 boo. And we live in walking distance of this liquor store. So he's telling her, just walk up here, get your car or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And we'll write the tickets in your name. Otherwise, they have to go in somebody's name because I've already called it in, right? And she tells me, I can't come up there because they gonna lock me up. Like, he hands the phone back to me. And she's like, I can't come up there because, but the whole time, she's telling him she's going to come. She's going to come. She's going to come. She's going to come. She's going to walk down the street. She's going to grab the car, the keys, all that stuff. She's going to take responsibility for her car. He'll write the tickets in her name. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when he hands the phone back to me, she's telling me I cannot come up there. I'm drunk and they're going to lock me up. And I'm like, they're not going to lock you up. He said he's not going to lock you up. She told him she had been drinking. She confirmed the whole fucking story. He said he wasn't going to lock her up. She's not driving a vehicle. Like, as long as you don't drive down here, you good. Just, you can take these tickets off your cousin, right? So she didn't come. He said, I will give you, you live right there. It's walking distance. I'm going to give you 30 minutes to get up here. So we'll sit her with her for 30 minutes or whatever. I'm going to give you 30 minutes to get here. And you're supposed to be walking, so you're not going to be in any trouble, right? So she never showed up. So he's like, I have to go on about my day, and I'm not going to lock you up or anything because it's just these little, fucking technical difficulties with her car. But I do have to write these tickets in somebody's name. So he writes the tickets in my name, and when I get home, now she keep in mind she living with me. I rearranged my household. I gave her her own room. I gave her the whole basement. Like she had a whole mini apartment in that motherfucker. Gave her kids my room. I moved my shit to the living room. Like I moved my whole motherfucking house around, right? So I get home and I'm asking her. I said, "Hey, cuz, I need you to pay these tickets. Okay, they're in my name. You didn't come down there. You was drunk. I get your whole sob story about why you felt like they was gonna lock you up, even though the officer said he was not gonna lock you the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So, and I believed him because if he was, he would not have sat there with me to try to, make sure I didn't get this ticket. I didn't get in trouble for this. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't like I did anything right. So I asked her, like, cuz, are you gonna pay these tickets or whatever? And she was like, nah, you drove the car. You're responsible for the tickets that you get in the car. This is what she said. And I said, yeah, I get that totally, cuz, but I didn't run a stop sign. Here are the tickets. I did not run a stop sign. I did not fucking, do anything. I didn't do any traffic violations. These tickets are for stuff that's wrong with your car. And she tells me I'm not paying it because the drivers, if you were driving it, then you're responsible for the tickets and the tickets are in your name. So what I did was when she left out to go do some shit, I packed all her motherfucking shit up, all her motherfucking kids shit up, and I put her shit on the motherfucking porch. Now you can tell me if I was wrong or whatever, because I felt like real used. I felt like real. She wasn't paying any rent in my house. I didn't ask her for no rent money. I didn't ask her for anything. Her kids and stuff, y'all eating up all my motherfucking food. You don't get no food stamps. I'm providing the food. I'm making sure you don't eat. You're living here for free. The least you could do is pay these tickets for the mistakes on your vehicle. You get what I'm saying? There was no driving violations on the shit, right? And she tell me now because you're driving, the law is because you're driving the fucking car that you're responsible for whatever tickets you get in the car. And she made me be responsible for those tickets. So I put her ass the fuck out of my house that day. And her kids, her and her motherfucking kids. And the spirit was telling me to do it. And I sat there for a minute because she was gone for some hours. And spirit was like, as soon as she walked out the door, spirit was like, pack her shit. Pack her shit. And I was like, no, this is wrong. I shouldn't do it. I know she don't have nobody. I called my sister and I'm like, right, can she come stay with you? Because the spirit telling me to put her the fuck out of my house. And my sister was like, that bitch can't come to my house. Now this her blood cousin, right? Me and her ain't even related because me and my sister got two different daddies. All right. So if you do the blood thing, we're not related. And then it turns out we not even more related because the bitch who was the mama adopted me. Right. So anyways, but at that time I did not know. Right. You said I would have done the same. As soon as you said she didn't want to pay the ticket, in my head, oh, she got to go. That's exactly how I went. It was like, she got to get the fuck out of here. She has to fucking leave. She has to get out of my house or whatever, right? So I ended up putting her the fuck out of my house. And we lose contact and everything for a year. She did end up getting the crib, and she moved some other people from St. Louis up to Omaha because she didn't want to be out there by herself. So I did end up getting out of the ticket. I show up for court and everything for the ticket. And I tell the judge the same story, right? So the judge is like, you can do like, because the ticket was unpaid because I refused to pay it. So we had a court date. You know what I'm saying? I was not going to pay it. I wanted to see the judge, right? So I went to the judge and I told the judge the same story. And I actually had a nice judge this time. I had a really nice judge this time. They were very understanding. They was like, we could, like, you don't have to pay anything. You could just do one night in jail for not paying your ticket and pay court costs. And I was like, I can't go to jail because I'm a single mother and I have kids. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, all right, then you need to do 18 hours of community service, right? And I was like, all right. So when I get to the community service, they send me to the courthouse and they put me to the maintenance department of the courthouse. And it was all men. And I'm this prissy little girl. I got my nails done, my hair done. I'm all up in that motherfucking prissy and shit. So the person who's over the community service department at that building down there, the maintenance department or whatever for the city, right? They look at me, dude take one look at me, and he's got all men, right? And he's like, yeah, you can't do shit that we have here. I don't even know why the fuck they sent you here. But basically you can pick up trash around the courthouse or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You can pick up some trash around the courthouse. So I did one round around the courthouse, and then he took me back to the office because they sent me out there with some guy or whatever. He took me back to the office or whatever, and the dude was like, all right, we just finna sign your paper and get you the fuck up out of here because you can't do any maintenance around the city. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So he ended up writing all my community service off and was like, you did it, you done with it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of that situation, it was like a year later, she ends up getting into like a car accident trying to go over there to Iowa to a concert. I forget who concert it was, but she ends up getting in a car accident. And mind you, I had not talked to her for a long ass time. And this car accident put her and her boyfriend into a coma, right? And I had even changed my number and everything. And I'm not even sure how the hospital got my phone number. And I had not been talking to this bitch. I was done with this bitch forever. Understand that, after she had played me. And the hospital called me and they told me that she was in a real, real bad car accident and that I needed to come up here and I'm her next of kin. And I have no idea how they even got my number, like I said, because I had changed my number since then and everything. And her kids was at home. Her kids did not know that she had gotten into a car accident. And she had teenagers too, and she had this daughter, and her daughter was super big too. And her daughter like wanted to fight me because of what I had did to them by putting them out of my house or whatever, right? So I knew where she stayed at. And I ended up driving over her house because my sister, her blood cousin, was not trying to help her motherfucking ass, right? Her motherfucking blood cousin was not trying to help her. So I drove over there and I went over there, and the doctors was telling me that she was unresponsible, like she not responsible, unresponsive, like she was dead or whatever. And I didn't know what to do. So I went over to her house, and when I get to the door, her teenage daughter is like up the street. I pull in the driveway. She wasn't even in the house. She was standing on the corner of the street. And she could see that I was pulling in the driveway, and I started calling her name, and she's like, "What the fuck you doing her?" This is her teenage daughter. "What the fuck you doing?" And I said, "Where your mama at?" And she was like, she went on a date last night, but bitch, she cursed me out, right? "But bitch, why you here? My mama don't want to see you, blah, 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 blah." I said, "You need to get in the car with me. Your mama got into a car accident. They say she not responsible, right?" She's like, "You a lying ass bitch, you a lying ass bitch." I said, "Call your grandma," right? So eventually, after she gets through cursing me out, my daughter's there. She's a teenager too, and she's like, "We're not playing. We don't even fuck with y'all. Why the fuck would we be here or whatever?" You know what I'm saying? So she starts break down crying. I call her mom back in St. Louis, and I'm like, "Hey, they say your daughter, she's not responsive, and she's at this hospital. I'm here with your grandchildren. I got them. If they need anything, you don't have to worry about it. I get them some food and shit." The hospital's like fucking an hour away because she's in fucking Iowa and I'm in fucking Nebraska. So Spirit's telling me to do this. So I grab her kids up. I drive them out there far. I give them money in their pocket. I give them food. I give them everything. And I'm there with her when she comes out of this coma. All right. And she busts out and she started crying. Her boyfriend, he wakes up too. They're across the hall from each other. He actually woke up first. The boyfriend woke up first. So I went to his room first. Now, I don't even know this dude. Right? I don't even know this dude in the coma. I don't even know him. But he's telling me he's heard so much about him. And he just, as soon as he sees me, he asks me who I am. I tell him who I am. And he breaks down crying. And he's like, "Thank you so much. Oh my God." Like, he's just crying, 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 crying. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Right? And then we get the word that she's awake. So we run across the hall. We go to her. And she's like, "What are you doing here? What happened? Like, what happened? What are you doing?" And I'm talking about her face is swollen. She's like, got cast on her. She had tools and shit. When we first seen her or whatever, she's like, what are you doing here or whatever? And I told her what happened. And she just bust out crying or whatever. And she still wanted to make up after that. But even after that, Spirit told me to cut her ass the fuck off. I did what I did. She apologized for how she had treated me, and she thanked me for coming to get her kids for her because she had nobody out there. And like I said, it had to have been the Spirit because she didn't even have my phone number, and I don't know how the fuck the hospital got her kids. Then I know that her kids had just thought that they went to the concert and they ended up getting a hotel room out there because she had told them before she left that she did not come back, that she was going to get a hotel room out there and then come back in the morning. But she didn't get the hotel room. She actually was in this car accident. It was like damn near fatal for her and this dude or whatever. Like, she could not walk or any of that shit. And then after she began to get better, she was like calling me to come see her. I came to see her once, but when I came to see her once, and this is when the Spirit was telling me to cut her the fuck off. When I came to see her once, she was still drinking. She was drunk driving in this accident, and that's how she ended up getting in this accident. She was drunk driving. That's what happened with this accident. Same shit. She was drunk driving, and they were on a ramp, and they flip. You know how some of them highway ramps go up, and then it's like a drop, and then there's a highway underneath? Yeah. Thank God it was like early in the fucking morning. Okay, because she ended up flipping the car and going back to the highway underneath. So there were cars that were coming that direction, right? So when I got to her house, the boyfriend, she still couldn't walk, but the boyfriend, he was up and he was moving and shit, and he brought her some more liquor. He brought her fucking liquor to that house, and after that, I was like, you know what? I can't do this. Like, you almost died. And her son was even mad at her. Like, I seen her son. She had teenagers. So her teenage son, when he brought her the liquor, he just got real mad, frustrated. He threw down his game. He went upstairs like, ugh, like he was mad because his mother had just fucking almost died, and she was still taking the medication. I'm talking about wrapped up. She was at home now, but she still had cast on her and shit like that. She was wrapped up in cast and she was still drinking. And I was like, I cannot sit here and watch you do this. Like, for real, for real. And then I never talked to her again. So I don't know if she's even still in Omaha, Nebraska, even if she's still alive. But the accident was caused by the drunk driving. So Spirit ended up getting me out of that situation by being obedient and putting her the fuck out of my house. And I didn't want to do it because I knew she didn't have nowhere to go. She had kids. She didn't have nothing, But Spirit really did push me to do it. And I hope these stories help somebody to make the right decision. I know you want to help people. I know you want to get out here and you want to show your love to people and everything, right? You said with the fucking Abilene, yeah, you had to cut her off. I did have to cut her off, and this was somebody that I loved or whatever. And this is before, like, all of this stuff. Somebody I've known her since I was a little kid. Just somebody I really love. But she's killing herself, so I had to let her go. And this is my story of letting these people stay with me and trusting people. So I know my stories was long and drawn out, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I have to tell the story how I remember the story, because I don't always tell the situations once they go down. Once they go down, it's like I'm trying to navigate the situation, so I can't really speak until I get, the shit together. But hopefully my stories of trusting people and allowing people to come and live in my house, like this bitch straight, I'm like, I went to Nebraska to start me anew, to start me a fresh start, to start over for me. And I didn't have any problems or anything. I had been there like just about a year when I told her she can come down. I was pretty stable. I had a job and a car and a house within 3 months of being in Nebraska. And by the time when she came down, I felt like I was pretty stable to be able to help someone else. You know, you can't help everybody. You cannot help everybody. I have other stories about people, but I don't want to draw this video out too long, And it is what it is. But I hope that helps you guys. I am available for your readings. But I'm just telling y'all this stuff and pouring my soul out to you guys to get this stuff out, get it out of me. You know what I'm saying? I got to get these things out of me so that I can heal, because we still are on our healing journey. So if you did something to me, your story time coming, and no, I'm not scared of you, and no, I don't give a fuck. And I'm just going to be honest to you. No, I don't fucking give a fuck. I don't care. Oh, y'all. Because before I even let her come stay with me, I let my niece come stay with me in the same house, y'all. Oh, I have to tell y'all this before I go, because this is relevant. And we're still on a story time in Nebraska, right? So before I even let her come stay with me, I let my niece come stay with me, right? And her boyfriend. And Josh is white. I'm declining that. And Josh is white, right? And I don't have a problem with white people or nothing like that. But Josh didn't have no job. This is her baby daddy. This is my niece. This is my sister's daughter, right? So this is the same cousin. Same sister that's aligned to this cousin. And then this is her child that I'm not letting her stay with me, because when she moved to Nebraska, her mama wouldn't let her stay with her either. This is the same person. The cousin and the mama is the same fucking person. She wouldn't let her daughter stay with her neither. When she wouldn't even pick her ass up from the Greyhound. And I picked her ass up from the Greyhound myself, her and her baby daddy or whatever, my motherfucking self. I picked them up from the Greyhound and I allowed them to stay with me, right? And I was going to drop my sons off at St. Louis. See, all these stories, they do align together. So I told y'all the story about me getting locked up on my way to St. Louis, or whatever. On my way back from St. Louis to Omaha, Nebraska. This is that story, right? Okay? So they were staying with me for a couple of months, and I seen their patterns. They wasn't working. They didn't have jobs. They was just sitting there eating food. She only had food stamps to offer. And then when she would get the food stamps, this is my niece, when she would get the fucking food stamps, she would hide the food stamps down in the basement with her and her dude. Like, she would go shopping, and she wouldn't put the shit in the house. She would take her food stamps and put it in there for her and her dude. But she was eating my food, because like I said, I was making people comfortable in my house and all that other shit. She was eating my motherfucking food and shit, right? So when she got her food stamps, she was putting her shit in the basement or whatever. And that kind of bothered me, because I'm like, I have kids and I'm feeding you and this grown ass nigga, and both of y'all grown, So I was uncomfortable with that shit, because I noticed when I would go to work, when I would go do my thing and I would be at work, I would come back and her boyfriend be to smoke my roaches. He had his lips all on my pipe. I had one of them cigarette, one hitters or whatever. And you know how it's printed on there like a cigarette. He had hit my one hitter so much that his lint print had took the paint off of the cigarette butt of the one hitter. So I didn't even want to smoke that no more, because I'm just thinking like, ew, nigga, yo, spit, whatever the fuck you did, like, nigga, your lips prints is on my shit. You know what I'm saying, right? You say, oh, no, that's wrong. This nigga took the doobies out the motherfucking ashtray, right, and smoked them motherfuckers, right? So I'm mad and shit, because I got weed, I got money, I got shit like that in my house, so I can smoke. And they do smoke or whatever, right? So he's smoking up all my shit, and I tell him, okay, I'm finna go drop my kids off in St. Louis, because they daddy said that he's finna help me and all this other shit, So y'all can't stay in my house while I'm gone. So y'all have to go. Y'all have to find somewhere to go while I'm gone, while I'm taking them to, St. Louis or whatever. And my niece, she didn't want to fucking find somewhere else to go. And my sister was like, you can't come over here. And this is her child. She's like, you can't come over here. Her usual or whatever, And they got mad because I wouldn't let them stay in the house while I was gone. And I ended up having to put her out. I ended up having to put her out of my house because she wanted to fight. We did fight. We actually did fight, because I was telling her she had to go somewhere, and she wanted to put her hands on me because I wanted her to leave my house while I fucking Went to St. Louis. I'm hitting my joint, y'all. While I went to St. Louis. So we end up fighting, fist fighting. She gets removed from the premises, removed from the property, her and her dude, and I go to St. Louis and I end up getting locked up in St. Louis for them 3 weeks. Now, while I was gone in them fucking 3 weeks, now, the reason why my stories are like this is because it's the timeline of events, okay, right? So when I get back and I get locked up, I told you I lost my car and I lost my job. So when me and my daughter get back on the Greyhound from me being locked up and all that other shit, we get to the house and the house is fucking ramsacked. It is ramsacked. I had washer and dryer in that motherfucker. Motherfuckers had used the washer and dryer. They cooked. The dishes was dirty. They ate up all the motherfucking food. They trashed the place. Trashed it. I'm talking about fucking trashed it. My niece and her motherfucking guy came back in to the motherfucking house and ransacked my shit. And they called the landlord. Like, I didn't have Section 8, though. See, this is where they fucked up at. They thought that I had Section 8. Right? My niece did. So she called the landlord and told them that I had let them stay there. And then I wanted to put them out. And they had been there over 30 days. And that shit right there. Okay? Now, this is my niece doing this, right? She ransacked everything. I'm talking about destroyed shit. Ate up everything. Used up everything. Soap. Took showers. Tub filthy. Everything was ransacked in my home, and this is with me allowing my niece to stand there, and she just got mad because I didn't want her to be there while I went to St. Louis. She felt entitled. She felt like she had a right to be there. I'm her auntie. I can't just put her out. You know what I'm saying? That's what she felt like, you know? So she did that to me as well. So I have one more final little short story on when I let somebody live with me. Okay, and this is when I was with the dude with the knife that had beat me and ripped my hair out and shit, all that. You know what I'm saying? So there was a church member of mine, and she was a big bitch too. She was a huge bitch too. I'm talking about 400-pound bitch. Now, this is back in St. Louis, okay? Now, this one, she physically did harm me, okay, y'all? She physically did harm me as well. And this is around the same motherfucking time. You gotta know when you getting spiritually attacked too, because it's happening in the same house, right? So I had a boyfriend. Y'all already know. She was there when the shit happened, right? I had that boyfriend. He was from the military. He was a videographer when he wasn't doing military shit. And I was a musician, and he was doing my videos and all other shit. And this is the dude that had beat me. So she didn't have anywhere to go. 400-pound bitch. She didn't have anywhere to go. So she called me. She say, Sister Edie, because at that point in time, I was still Edie. Sister Edie, I need somewhere to go. I don't have anywhere to go. So she's a church member of mine. So I'm like, okay, you can come and stay in the house with me, right? She big. She lonely. She fat. And I ain't trying to fat shame nobody, but you know, some of those people, they really just be down in the dumps and they low vibrational and they just don't, you know, my 600-pound life type shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what she was on. She would sit on my couch all day. She didn't work, but she would say, I will watch your kids for you. I'm going to watch your kids for you so you can do whatever you need to do. And that would help me out. You know what I'm saying? That helped me out. So I wasn't saying too much or whatever, because she was like, anytime you want to, you know, do whatever, I'll watch your kids. But my kids were showing me signs that this bitch was also being mean to my kids too. And then, of course, I was with that dude, and then me and him would argue because he was doing shit. And then when I would say something to him doing me wrong, then it would become physical because he felt like, bitch, why are you saying something? You don't have a right to say something. You just gonna sit down, shut up, fuck me, suck me when the fuck I'm ready type shit. And I went on that, so I would always stand up for myself, and then I would always get punched in my motherfucking face or something. You know what I'm saying? But I still was standing up for myself, which is why we're not together. But anyways, me and him got into it one day because he was mistreating me. So me and him got into it, and she's sitting in the living room, and she's hearing me and him argue, and he's getting loud, and all of a sudden she busts in the room, right? And she was like, you need to be grateful you have a man like him. He is doing everything for you. You need to shut up and be grateful because people don't have men. Everybody don't have men. And she grabs me, and she big now. She grabbed me, and she like tossed me across the room, and she tried to fight me. I kicked this bitch in her stomach. That's how I had to get her off of me, because I had to kick this bitch in her stomach. But she beats me up on behalf of him. I'm like, are y'all fucking? And she was living in my house on my couch. Now, I definitely got her. She was out that day. Bitch, with your big ass. I called the police on her ass. Bitch, you got to get the fuck out of my motherfucking house. But this was also me being young and me trying to be nice. I did nothing to these people. Okay? How I even extended myself, called my date for my cousin and told him I'm finna be, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna be late so I can make sure she's straight. All that other shit. When I really should have just went on about my way. This bitch didn't have a place to stay, and I really should have just went on about my way. I should have let that big bitch stay out there because this bitch put hands on me in my own motherfucking house. And she was in my house. I was feeding her big ass food. You get what I'm saying? I was feeding her food, letting her dent my motherfucking couch in, live in my motherfucking house. And then when me and my boyfriend get into an argument, bitch, you hop up and you start swinging on me? Right, nice equals stupid. We learn lessons over here in Truthgang. And that's why I'm telling y'all these stories, because can't nobody make fun of me for this shit because I'm well learned, bitch. This is how I learned, motherfucker. Some people gotta learn the hard way. Shit. Okay? This is how I learned. Nah, bitch, I'm sorry that you homeless. 211, ho. 211. Call 211, ho. That's what I have for you. I have the phone number to 211. You can't stay with me. You cannot stay with me. You cannot come in to move in my house. None of that shit. Like, being too nice will get you fucked up. And I've learned that shit. You help a motherfucker how you can help a motherfucker. And you know, I felt entitled to help that big ass bitch too. I felt entitled to help that big ass bitch because when I was with the preacher and he had pulled some narcissist shit, right? Because both our names was on the lease. He tried to get my name off of the lease but didn't have the money, but told the landlord he had the money. But I had the fucking money. So the landlord ended up giving the key, changing the locks, to the person who had the fucking money because we was behind on rent because we was steady arguing and we didn't have our shit together. So the landlord locks the motherfucking apartments. And at that point in time, I didn't have nowhere to go, but the preacher did because he was a hoe. So she took me in for 10 motherfucking days. I was at her house for 10 days. She took me in. So when she lost her house, I felt obligated to help her. I felt obligated to help her. And that's why I let the big bitch move into St. Louis with me when I was in that apartment. By the U City Loop or whatever. I let her move in because I felt like she had helped me during one of my times, but I was only there for 10 days. I went grocery shopping for her. I helped her out. Like, if you with somebody else, you got to help them out. You know what I'm saying? I helped her out while I was with her. I gave her money and everything. And even when my money and shit really, really hit, like my shit came through, I gave her even more money. Like, here you go. Thank you for staying with me. I mean, letting you stay with, thank you for allowing me to stay with you for these 10 days with my kids. And she didn't have any kids. So I felt like anytime somebody who don't have kids and when they extend themselves to somebody who does have kids, like, you kind of feel like if you do have kids, like, you owe them something. Like, let me help you because you didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I felt like I was going to help her, because I felt like she had helped me during that time frame when me and the preacher was getting into some shit. And I needed a place to stay until I can get the landlord what he was asking to get them keys and his name up off that lease for real, So that's how that went. That's a short story. With me allowing people to stay with me. Never ever again. Never ever again. I'm sorry. I love you, tribe, all of y'all, but y'all can't stay with me. Okay? And that's another reason why I'm thinking like temple. What y'all think? Y'all tell me what y'all think about the idea of switching the land to the temple, because we don't need to be doing all this fucking. I mean, if it's an apocalypse and we need to come to a safe space, then we'll have it, because we built this temple. You get what I'm saying? But as far as like living quarters and shit like that and all that other shit, this shit is not going to turn into no crazy ass cult type shit. Everybody on their own journey, all right? And we'll stick together as a tribe. Need be apocalypse type situations and shit like that. We need to group together to make some shit happen for one of our tribe members so they don't have to be in a situation, whatever it is. And I know that we can do that because we did that one time for that lady that was dealing with the domestic violence situation, where we were able to give her some money when she was leaving her loved one. I think we had raised $333 exactly. I'll never forget that. And I just made a post and I was like, look, tribe, this is the situation. We got this tribe member and she's in a domestic violence situation and she's trying to leave the situation. She don't have any money. She was able to get her a hotel room. So we can do shit like that. But I don't have any vacancies. All right. Right. Temple can be a safe space. And that's what I'm thinking, instead of just getting the land where we having the tribe come to the land. Because this shit, we're not turning this shit into no cult, man. We ain't got time for this shit. This is not a motherfucking cult at all. But it's still gang in this bitch. It's just that what it is. It's still gang in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? But we build this temple for the spirits. Everybody have a place to come and get their healing. They'll have a place to come and birth their children, their doulas, and all of that shit. They'll have a place to, do the rituals and stuff like that. If you all wanted to participate in person and all of that, we can do it like that. But I love you guys so much. I feel like I done talked y'all motherfucking ears off. You said, now we can live close by. But it will be some tribe members to live on this land, because the spirits and stuff like that, this is a 24-hour job. This shit don't stop. I'm constantly wiping off altars. You ask my daughter, she is a great altar girl. Okay, I'm constantly cleaning up altars, constantly making offerings, like 24 hours a day. This is what I do, and I'm not a servant or a slave to the spirits and nothing like that. I just know how to move shit, so I be moving shit. You know, I know how to move shit. I know how to make the spirit move. I know how to do what I got to do, so I just move shit. You know what I'm saying? But offerings got to be laid out daily and shit. You know, statues have to be cleaned. That shit, like, we gonna have to have maintenance on that shit. And if I'm having herbs there, because I still want to have the herbs and stuff, like there's going to be a garden there for tribe members where you can get your fresh herbs, which we'll use for healing purposes and all of that, cooking and healing. Okay. And then we have the garden. So that's for people who do the organic. We'll still have those things available. It's just that I only want the people that's going to live there, the people that's bringing a business there to work there. So like the doula, the death doula and the life doula and stuff like that, the teacher, because I do plan on expanding the Tree of Knowledge School of Metaphysics onto that temple as well. So there will be a school available where they'll teach reading, writing, and arithmetic, but also the knowledge that they didn't teach you in school, you know? And that's what the temple will be for, if y'all can see the vision. But I feel like the tweaking that the spirit is having me do with this project for the tribe is what's necessary to have something healthy. I don't want anything to turn unhealthy. I want people to go there and get healing, go there just because they want to receive their, you know, their treatments, you know what I'm saying? Like their spa treatments, their yoni steams, that's a spa treatment. A yoni steam is a spa treatment. Their spiritual cleansings, you know? So if they wanted to set their day up where they'll have a day there at the temple, they'll go set up for the yoni steam, set up for the facial, set up for the spiritual cleansing where they would get smoked by, you know, and all of that stuff by the priestess and all that, you know, to do that, you know? But you said, but even if someone did think it was a cult, fuck them because we ain't no cult. I don't care if they think it's a cult or not. I just definitely don't want it to turn into one, because if you watch these situations, that shit is scary. I ain't gonna lie to you. That shit is scary. And the cult leader be the one that's like over all of the shits. You know what I'm saying? I done met some weird people in Truthgang too. I done met some weird ass motherfuckers in Truthgang. But I ain't gonna say they were in Truthgang, but they wanted to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So I done met some weird people just along the journey. How about that? I say that. I met some weird people along the journey, not in Truthgang. And they do be weird. They be wanting to be you, steal your identity and all that other shit. Motherfuckers see you got a little power or something under your belt. They want to try to steal it from you, or something crazy, some fucking word, or they want you to really help them, but they don't really have much to offer you in help. And when I say that as a spiritualist, we all need to be reciprocating this, and that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? It's about reciprocation of the spirit. You know? So I just say that to say, be careful, you know what I'm saying? And just be wise. And don't block out the people that the spirit is sending you because of the experiences that you have. And that's just energetic signatures and shit like that, you know, that come back around. And you have to be able to realize those things. But I'm telling you these stories because motherfucker don't know shit about what you've been through or how you got there, you know? But I fuck a motherfucker up too. I was young and naive during those times. I'm talking about early 20s, very young and naive. All right. But I love you guys so much. I'm available for your readings. I don't know if I'll come back for a reading or not. I'm just going to do what the spirit tells me to do. But I am going to get this poetry up because I did finally write what I felt for a day and what I was thinking. And I feel like it turned out really nice. So I'm going to record that for you guys. And that will be up on the channel here shortly. I will see you guys soon. Gang, gang, gang. I'm out this beach.